Hey BookTube, I'm back. Um, as you can tell, I have a voice and I can speak, so that's new. After the last video I did, it was a tag video. Oh, and I can't remember what it was. Anyway, as soon as I was done with that video, within a half hour, no voice, it was gone. I couldn't sing along to songs in the car. It was awful. And I got tagged by Steve Partridge to do his own tag called the My Pleasure book tag. And if you haven't subscribed to Steve Partridge, definitely do so. In fact, today, Sunday, he did Sundays with Steve, or Steve on a Sunday, or I think it's Sundays with Steve. And he did it last week and did it this week. It's a live stream. And just a fun chat. And I was doing live streams a while ago. And I would like to do more of them. And I think they work better when people know they're going to happen. And I like that he was doing it like that. So let me know down below if that would work. Maybe I would do Saturdays or something like that. Or just give you a couple days notice so I could do them with Zoe. Depending on what's what. But yeah, so Steve originated this tag, and it was really difficult. I'm not going to lie. Not all of it, but two of the questions in here were... I'm almost glad I lost my voice to the extent that it gave me time to try to figure out good answers for these. So anyway, it's 7 prompts. And the first one is Think, a book that makes you think hard. And I'm sitting here going, okay, I have to have something worth a damn, I can't just come out here and go John Carter of Mars or something. And I know I have read nonfiction. I've read theology books even. So I'm okay, there's got to be something good here. Couldn't think of anything. But then when I kind of looked deeper into it, I pulled this out. Because of the language used in here, you have to really be paying close attention to everything that's going on, or else you're not going to know what the fuck anyone's talking about. You could literally, okay, so now everyone's upset, get lost if you daydream for one sentence, and then you come back and you're oh shit, I gotta pay attention a little bit, and then you're oh my god, what are they talking about now? So definitely this book, it just made me think of the language being used. So yeah, so Clockwork Orange for that. And my phone's on low power mode, so every time I have the prompts up, they disappear when I look away. Love, a book that broke or mended your heart. I don't think my heart's ever been mended by a book, but it's definitely been torn to shreds by quite a few. And the one that always brings me to tears or emotional instability is Breakfast of Champions. Probably my favorite book of all time. And I don't know if I should read the end of this book to you, but I'll just show you this. Okay, so there's tears happening, but the grief, I guess we'll call it, that Kilgore Trout portrays at the end, and then knowing about Kurt Vonnegut, the author, and the voice Kilgore Trout uses, it's just horribly depressing. It really hits me, and it hits me harder the older I get. There it is. There's tourists up here, and they're walking their dogs. So every few minutes or so, my dogs have been running out there barking. The other thing about Breakfast of Champions, if you haven't seen it, there's a movie starring Bruce Willis and Albert Finney, based on Breakfast of Champions, called Breakfast of Champions. And I feel like it just kind of skims the surface of what the book's about. But the end, they nailed the grief and despair of the ending. Like, nailed it. So if you've read the book and you haven't seen the movie, treat yourself. Treat yourself. All right. So next, Eat, a book that nourishes you. And for this, I picked Raymond Chandler's Lady in the Lake, just because this is my favorite Raymond Chandler right now. At any time, I could say the long Goodbye, or The High Window, or The Big Sleep, or The Little Sister, or whatever. But the dialogue in Raymond Chandler books, the snap, the wit of the Philip Marlowe character. Again, this is like one of my favorite lines anywhere. This guy says, "I don't like your manner." And he says, "That's all right, I'm not selling it." Boom, bitch. I love that. Yeah, I still have my Big Bear tags in here. Every time where I'm like, I knew where it was talking about, and it was giving like directions. Anyway, so reading a good hard-boiled mystery is always good, but the thing that makes a hard-boiled mystery rereadable is, to me, the dialogue and how the prose flow. And Chandler's a master. Like, I don't think anyone comes close to him. So there's that. Laugh, a book that brought a little comic relief. Now, there were a lot of questions in here that any of them I could have picked a Bukowski book. Because I've been reading a lot of Bukowski lately, and Bukowski checks all of these boxes. And this one was really hard not to throw in there because I seriously laugh out loud. I lull in IRL. Oh, I just end twice. Oh, it's so stupid. Anyway, when I'm reading his stuff, like, I'll just like crack up laughing. In fact, I was reading a Fante book, and Zoe was sitting there, and I'm like, ha ha ha, and laughed and scared the shit out of her because it was all quiet, and I just laughed, and she's like, ha ha. So that was pretty good. But what I ended up picking was Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas by Hunter S. Thompson. This is one of my favorite books. Has been for years and years and years. It is so comical, and it's funny because it's funny, but it's funny. I think it's funny the way other people think it's funny. Like, you are watching like two people completely descend into like a drug fueled madness and that should be like really harrowing or something, you know. And it's just so funny. And not that I had ever tripped like this, but I think a lot of it has to do with there's been like drunk nights with the guys, you know, where yeah, we'll leave it at that. But I don't know what it is. It makes me feel really warm inside. And I remember there was some book tag, like when I first started on BookTube going around, and it was something like, "What are your three feel good books, like books you read on a rainy day or something to make you feel better?" And I picked Breakfast of Champions, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and Frankenstein. And amazingly, I got comments of people asking me what the fuck was wrong with me. That none of those books actually make you feel good. It's just they make me feel good when I read them. Like Fear and Loathing, a couple other books I'm going to be talking about, I could like pick up and read like a couple paragraphs and go, ugh, and then put the bookmark in and walk away from it and pick it up in a week. They're just so good to reread. The rereadability of all the books I'm showing right now are phenomenal. So, Sex, a book that brought a book that explores or contains sexuality that doesn't make you cringe. Well, this is probably hitting you over the head with it a bit, but Women by Charles Bukowski, and I finally got the version of the original cover. This is an Echo version. I wanted to get the Black Sparrow Press version, but I haven't. And he drew that lady with her little pincher claw feet. But anyway, so this book is, chronologically speaking, with the Henry Chinansky stuff. This takes place in between Post Office and Hollywood. And the reason why this is good to me is because when Charles Bukowski writes about sex, it is so like overly manly, but also like completely self-deprecating. And I think that's the only reason why I could read it. Like it feels right, like it feels normal. Because I'm pretty much a firm believer that if anyone tells you that their sexual history isn't completely littered with horrible, self-deprecating things, they're full of shit, and they might not have ever been touched that way. But it's just so real. Like I could tell you stories that would make your head spin. But yeah, so that book's a good book for that. Rest, a book that gave you peace, reflection, or just calms you down. Now, again, a lot of the books I've shown you could like fill that hole. No pun there, hopefully. Naked Lunch. This is another one of those books that I pick up and just read a little bit and then we'll put it down and come back to it. But other books like that, especially that I'm reading right now, Pulp and Hot Water Music. I read Hot Water Music so much the last couple months, it's ridiculous. So, but I didn't want to just like Bukowski all over the place. Bless you. You know what I mean. But yeah. And again, any of the books that I've shown can fall under Rest here. experience. Now, a book that introduced you to a new subject or shifted your perspective. This was weird because I'm almost like the old dog, new tricks scenario. Like, there isn't a whole lot out there that is going to change who I am or what I am or whatever. But when I went out on a limb and read Tarzan, it introduced me to not only one of the most serialized characters ever, but a whole new genre book. The whole adventure, romance adventure kind of thing. I say romance because every single one of these books, there's like some like damsel in distress that the hero has to save, and the love he feels for that person supersedes everything. So, look at that great artwork. That's Neil Adams, right? I think we've already been over this. Yeah. Oh man, I got some folded pages up in here. Sorry, folks, but I really thought I was going to absolutely hate Tarzan, and I started reading it, and I only read the first couple chapters, and then put it down and didn't pick it up again for months. And but man, once you get past those first couple chapters, it's like a barn burner, and it's nonstop. And pretty much every Tarzan book I've read has been that way. And I am on. So that'll be 9. I think I'm at number 9. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Maybe it does. Oh yeah, because Untamed was before Terrible. Yeah, so I'm on 9. That's one of the few that I don't have a copy of. So I'm kind of waiting around until I run into it. But I like. I have had so much enjoyment and entertainment reading the Tarzan books. And if you're like me and you're like, oh, Tarzan, and all you could think of is like the cheesy black and white TV show or movies or whatever, get that out of your head. It's like such a different beast. It is so good. But anyway, so those are my picks. I hope you enjoyed them. If you would like to do this video, go ahead and do it. You are now tagged. If you don't do videos, but you want to answer some of these prompts, go ahead and leave them down below. And for actual people I tag, I'm going to tag Indie Insomniac. I need to get him off his ass a bit. Let me see here. Paperback Mania, definitely. Eric Peterson, definitely. Richardson Reads, but I think he did this. I've been kind of out of the loop. In fact, I don't know who's done this and who hasn't, so just you're tagged. Okay? And I will probably check for another tag video and do another video here soon. But every time I say that, I end up not doing anything. So I'll see you later, BookTube.